Guys, I came across a video of a man who married, and I say that term loosely, his doll. This video was actually, I mean, all my videos are serious, but this one is going to be very serious. Um, Let me preface this by saying that I think that there is some psychological problems going on with this young man. Um, so I definitely think that is present. But the reason why I'm doing this is because he actually has a TikTok and people actually follow him. He posts videos. He's out and about with this doll. He has a family with this doll. And a lot of people have posted comments, obviously denigrating him, like most people do. Whenever a guy does something that's even drastic like this, people usually just bash. No one really offers to help because people in general just don't care about men. But his response to a lot of the backlash was that he was lonely. And if it wasn't for these dolls, um, he don't know where he would be. This is him. His name is Christian. He's from what is it? Colombia. Colombia. He's from Colombia. I'll go through some of these picture threads. You can see he's got little descriptions down here on what's going on. His son Sammy was born, so I guess this doll is in labor. Here's the doctor, and they had a kid. Go to the next video, and so he's living out a life with this doll. They're somewhere, a park or something. Um, Devoted mother picture with her older son and daughter. So he's got a whole family going on here. This is him crying while his wife, the doll, is delivering. Um, there's a video, but he's talking in Spanish. So I didn't play the video, but I'm showing you all the pictures so you can get an idea of what's going on here. If you didn't see my other video about the AI, go check it out because it's kind of linked to this on a problem that we're seeing in society right now. Read this. In a recent video, which has racked up 120,000 views and 2,194 likes, the man filmed Natalia and himself wearing matching t-shirts with Papa D. Sammy and Mama D. Sammy written across them. It got 120,000 views and 2,194 likes. This is where we're at now as a society globally. Now, I've seen some of the comments that was left, and there was actually people in the comment section saying congratulations. And if he's happy, then what does it matter? I will be the first one to say that we need to have natural relationships. I said that even in the AI video. But instead of bashing and attacking the men, what I'm arguing is fixing the reason why someone would choose this and believe that this is the best option for them. Why a man would choose AI and believe that that is the best option for him. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Some people would say that this is insanity. But there are a lot of men who are going the AI route, or they're just choosing to be alone, or they're becoming a passport brother or a passport bro, a passport gentleman, is like I like to call them, because they are no longer insane. And what do I mean by that? Well, most people meet today, they say, from online dating. So if you are a man who does online dating and you have been unsuccessful for years, for decades, and you choose to go the AI route, or you choose to be a passport gentleman, or you choose to be by yourself, you are making a choice to no longer be insane, because you tried various avenues and it didn't work. If you stop trying those avenues and you try something new, you are choosing to no longer be insane and repeat the cycle that you've been doing over and over again. So I am not condoning this young man for having dolls and going this route. Obviously, this is a coping mechanism for loneliness. I don't know if anyone listening to this video has ever been incarcerated, but the cruelest punishment that you can give to a prisoner that's incarcerated is putting them in solitary confinement for an extended amount of time. As a matter of fact, it is cruel and inhumane. The Bible says it is not good for man to be alone. That tells you that we are created to be social creatures. We crave companionship. We crave relationship. If you want to make a prisoner suffer, put them in solitary confinement for years. It will change you. You will develop psychological and emotional problems. This is what's happening to a lot of young men today. They say a lot of men that but that go out there and commit heinous crimes, as far as mass shootings, things of that nature, internal terrorism. They share a lot of similar characteristic traits, and one of them is being loners. When you don't have companionship, when you don't have intimate relationships, when you don't have friendships that are close, it's similar to being in solitary confinement. So you may have a job, you may get out of your house, you may see people, but seeing people and being around people is not enough. You need to interact with people. You need to talk to people. You need to share with people. You need to open up to people. This is how intimacy and relationships are built. But you have a lot of young men today who are surrounded by people, but they're lonely as ever. And this loneliness causes psychological and emotional problems because there is a disconnect. And the more disconnected you feel from people, the less compassion and empathy you have for others. The less compassion and empathy you have for other people. So a lot of young men do things to cope. I believe that this is what's happening in this young man's situation. A lot of men are choosing to do other things. Until we can get our society back to where it needs to be, we will see an uptick in things that are out of the ordinary. We will see an uptick in the AI situation. I believe we're going to see dating sites that is just AI. Right now we have dating sites, Match.com, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, all these other things, Tinder, Bumble, all these other things. I think we're going to start seeing dating sites for AI where men who are lonely And men who don't have access to healthy relationships are going to start joining AI dating sites. And it is a cope. It is a last ditch effort to try to form some sort of intimacy with someone, even if it's just virtual. That's how desperate a lot of men are today. Because a subset of men have access to all the women, and a large set of men have little to no access. This is what's creating these kind of issues in our society. Make no mistake, if the men in your society fall, your society falls. No civilization can stand if the men aren't strong. If the men aren't standing, the civilization will not stand. The civilization is not standing. So we are headed to a place of instability where a small percentage of men have access, control, and power, and a majority of men don't. And not all men are going to go out there and join the AI dating site. Not all men are going to go out there and get dolls. Not all men are going to become passport gentlemen. But as these issues increase, these men will need to do something to cope. And if they're not going to become passport gentlemen, if they're not going to go out and get dolls, which most aren't, if they're not going to join AI dating sites, which most aren't, if they're not going to choose to just be by themselves or be MGTOW, they will do something to cope with the loss of intimacy and closeness. Women buy cats, they drink wine, they travel, they become cat ladies, they cry on TikTok. Everyone does something to cope with the lack of intimacy and companionship and close relationships in their lives with the opposite sex. Men cope, women cope. But until we fix what the problem is in our society, and I've said it before, I don't think it will get fixed. I've said that. If you're a man and you are able to become a passport gentleman and you are able to find intimacy and companionship outside of this culture, I would encourage you to do so. The only women I believe in this culture who are worth marrying are women who are devout Christians or devout Catholics. And I use the word devout because devout Catholics do not believe in divorce. Devout Christian women who actually follow the Bible don't believe in divorce. But a lot of women, probably most women I ever met, qualify as Christian, but they were not. They did not follow the tenets in the Bible. So do not listen to a woman who says she's a Christian. If she's not following the tenets and what the Bible says regarding relationships, regarding marriage, then look for another. Those are the only two women I can confidently suggest a man take a chance on. Because Catholics do not believe in divorce. Women who follow the Bible and who identify as Christian and are Christian do not believe in divorce. Anything outside of that, you are taking a chance. They are incentivized to break their marriage vows. It is a contract to them. And if it gets too rough or if they get bored, they can just walk away with half the assets, which is a great security blanket for them and start a new life. Even though it's not greener on the other side, like they're being hyped up to believe and hyped up to be, nonetheless, they will exercise that option. And when they do that, oftentimes, the man is left to ruin. But this is a serious issue. And the fact that people were commenting, saying congratulations, liking a post, and all this other stuff is just contributing to the deliriousness of it all. We have a problem in this country, and people who have the ability to make change is not addressing it. And the individuals that do address it get marked and labeled as misogynist, toxic, conspiracy theorists. There is no one out there talking about these issues. The ones that are in position to talk about it are talking around it and not pointing to the problem. The problem is the culture. The problem is the women. But you can't find a man or a woman who's in position to make change to actually come out and say it. So we create these spaces for men to be heard, for men's problems to be addressed. And at the moment, the only solution I have for men, especially young men, is to marry a devout Catholic, marry a woman who's a Christian, a devout Christian and follows the Bible, or become a passport gentleman. And I want to say this, if you become a passport gentleman, you still vet these women. You use the same measure that I just used. Look at their family. Does she come from a 2-parent household? What is the status and how is marriage looked at in their culture? Is it just a contract or is it a holy union? There are many countries that believe marriage is a holy union and is a covenant, which is what the Bible says. If their culture doesn't view it as a covenant, if their culture doesn't view it as holy, find another woman. Because that means she has no issue breaking it. But this is the direction where we're headed now. Where something like this is actually a possibility. Where he thought and believed that this was a better possibility than any other possibility out there. And this man is in Colombia. Colombia is arguably a country with some of the most attractive women. He's in that country and he's resorted to having a relationship with a doll. This is a picture from a woman from Brazil who's doing the same thing with a doll. This is how screwed up society has become. And this is what happens when you mess with the gender roles. This is what happens when you destroy the men in a society. This is what happens when you demonize masculinity. Marriages crumble, families crumble, civilizations crumble. And we are in a dire situation where the majority of the men in our culture and our society are suffering. And a lot of them are suffering in silence, just as we're taught. Man up. Be a man. Man up. We suffered in silence for decades, and now it's finally manifesting itself. This is insane. All right, guys. I'll leave the link below. You can check this out yourself. You can actually watch the video too. It's about a minute long. It's not that long, but it's in Spanish, and I'm not fluent in Spanish, so I didn't play the video. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you think a doll is a better option now than actually dating. I mean, I agree with you. Dating is ridiculous now. I mean, women their egos are so overinflated. They're not feminine. You're not getting a feminine woman. Um, you're never going to get a good woman if she doesn't feel she needs you. You're just not. Things we don't feel we need, we just don't treat them very well, and that's just the truth. A woman will treat her job better than she treats you, and you can be her husband, you can be the father of her children, but if she doesn't see you as a vital asset in her life, you're just not going to be treated as such. So is this where we're at now? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.